Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Gail Goodreads, and I am Dr. Gail Dawson. And the book we're going to talk about today is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book caught my eye at an airport. It was on the bestseller shelf, and the subtitle is what enticed me to pick it up: An Easy and Proven Way to Build Good Habits and Break Bad Ones. I leafed through it and was intrigued by the content and the style of writing, and I wanted to learn more. I found this book very easy to read and full of nuggets of knowledge on how we can change ourselves into something that we would like to become. In fact, that's the premise of this book. We are defined by our habits, like what we eat, how we exercise, and what we do with our time. If we are thinking about changing our habits, we need to think about who we want to become. For instance, if we have a goal to lose weight, it's not about the number of pounds that we want to see on the scale. In fact, that's of secondary importance. Our real goal is to become that person who enjoys a healthy lifestyle and keeps their weight in check. James Clear explains that the best way to become that person is by making small changes over time. Small changes are much easier to start with and stick with, and we deserve to recognize and celebrate these incremental adjustments. In explaining the title of the book, he says, an atomic habit refers to a tiny change, a marginal gain. Just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. This is the meaning of the phrase atomic habits, a regular practice or routine that is not only small and easy to do, but also the source of incredible power, a component of the system of compound growth. We may not see immediate gratification, but this approach can continually move us in the right direction, and we will ultimately become the person that we aspire to be. There's multiple references to scientific studies that he shares with us to help us understand why we act in certain ways and make the choices that we do. He discusses the evolutionary history of our species and how our brains developed. He breaks down the habit process into 4 basic components based on the way our human brains are organized. One is the cue or the stimulus, which causes us to think about the behavior. Number 2 is the craving, which is the motivation to perform the behavior. 3 is the response, which is the outcome of the behavior. And 4 is the reward, which is ultimately what makes that behavior worthwhile. He talks about the neurotransmitter dopamine and how it contributes to behavior through our reward centers. For instance, the anticipation of a reward can be just as satisfying as the reward itself, which was news to me, but it does explain why certain activities like playing slot machines are so addictive. It's the pulling of the lever that can be the reward in itself because of the anticipation of winning, not necessarily the payout. In fact, he talks about how many times we need to receive a reward for repeating a certain behavior before we abandon the behavior as futile. It's a fascinating discussion, and I will leave it to you, the reader, to find out more. There's a lot of instructional information on how to improve good habits and let go of bad ones. Most of the approaches are based on common sense and are very simple to execute. He uses examples from his extensive knowledge base and consulting experience. He also addresses things like why we procrastinate and how to motivate ourselves into taking action. This is just a brief review of this wonderfully informative and delightfully written book. I hope I have done it justice because I see it as having the potential to be a life changer. It has already affected my life in a positive way. I would encourage you to give it a try. And this is one that you may consider keeping on your shelf because the content is timeless and can always be revisited. I also know of a family who chose this book for everyone to read, and they loved the discussions that it inspired. Here's one of my favorite quotes from the book. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. To me, this means that we should continuously engage in the process of self-improvement for our physical, mental, and spiritual health. This book gives us insight on how to develop that process and to nurture it. Again, this book is Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he also gives reference to his website and newsletter, which you may want to check out. It's worth noting that he started out from very humble beginnings and use this process to achieve his own amazing accomplishments. He is his own best endorsement, living proof that this process works. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Please check out my website, livelongfeelgood.com. Thank you.